Hey everyone, it's Seth, and I've got another video for you here using a Feldenkrais Method process to help you improve your Wim Hof wave breath. And this is the second video in a row that's actually really focused on power breathing, a faster, more vigorous version of the Wim Hof breath practice. I'm basically assuming that you already know about how to do that if you're watching this video, but I will say that if you're not practicing Wim Hof Method, what I'll take you through in this video is still beneficial to you for your breathing, for your overall well-being. So let's get into it. Lie on your back, bend your knees and stand your feet, and begin by rolling your pelvis a little bit up the floor so that your low back comes closer into contact with the floor, and then all at once just let go so that you do a slow, deliberate movement of rolling the pelvis up the floor a little bit, and then you just allow gravity to rock your pelvis back to the beginning. So do that a few times. Roll the pelvis up and then just release the pelvis. And in the moment of releasing the pelvis, see if you can really feel that there is no impediment to the pelvis rolling back down. In fact, it might even roll a little further from the starting position. It might roll a little in the direction of your feet. And then stop that and instead roll the pelvis down away from your head. But in the same way, roll it down and you create a little arch in the low back, and then just let go so that the momentum takes your pelvis back to the beginning. And do that a few times. So once again, you're trying to really feel that moment that the pelvis just moves on its own momentum. And now take the pelvis up the floor once and let go, and take the pelvis down the floor once and let go. And see if gradually you can create a continuous rocking of the pelvis, but you only have to give a small effort in that particular moment to set it in motion, and then you give another effort before the movement completely dies down. But a lot of what's happening here is that the pelvis is just moving on its own momentum after you give it a little push. So maybe you can find a kind of a rhythmical timing where you begin to create a sense of an oscillation, and you feel how the movement goes up your spine, feel how your chest, your head, your shoulder blades, everything can just yield to this rocking movement of the pelvis. Okay, let it all go now, and lengthen your legs on the floor. And now if you followed the previous video, you'll remember this, but now feel the contact of your heels with the floor and make a movement of drawing the tops of your feet up towards your shins. And then in the same way that you were doing with the pelvis, after you draw the feet up, just let go. But see if this movement passes up through your legs into your hip joints, if you feel a similar movement in your pelvis as what was going on when your feet were standing. And do this a few times, and then again, feeling that you're really connected to the floor with your heels, reach your feet down away from the head and let go. And then little by little, in the same way that you did with the feet standing, you're going to include both of these movements so that the feet are moving up and down, the heels stay connected, but you're looking for the minimum of effort that will create a kind of a continuous oscillation up and down. So if you get tired, you can pause momentarily before you come back into the movement, but you're just looking for a sense of continuous and simple oscillation here. Okay, let it all go. And now bring your attention to your breathing. And for a few breaths, breathe in and expand the belly. And now I'm going to ask you to breathe in a bit of a different way. The breath is going to be shallow and fast, and it's going to happen with a bit of a rhythm. So it'll sound something like this. So the accent is on breathing in, and then you let go. Just try that now. Breathe in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Do that 4 or 5 times, and then pause. And just take a regular breath or two, and then return to this rhythmic breathing. Now you don't have to try to take in a lot of air when you do this, but just try to establish the rhythm. And now as you continue, put your hands somewhere on the front of your chest so you can feel how do the ribs move as you do this fast breathing. So can you feel movement forward in the direction of the ceiling? Can you feel that the width of the chest changes? You can try putting your hands in different places, maybe up near to your collarbones. And now take a rest. And then you're going to come back to almost the same kind of thing, but instead of accenting the inhale, can you now place the accent on the exhale? So it'd be like this. So you do a series of breaths like that 4, 5, or 6 times, and then you pause. And again, you can feel for the movement in your ribs. And notice also, what are you doing with your belly? Each time you make that little accent, do you find that you're drawing your belly in or you're pushing your belly out? Whichever of those movements you're making, make it more deliberate so that you really feel that with every breath accent, there's a movement in the belly. And for you, it might be drawing the belly in, or it might be pushing the belly out. But now pause and see if you can return to the movement you were just doing, the breathing, accenting on the exhale, but change what you were doing with your belly. If you were drawing it in, now push it out. And if you were pushing it out, now draw it in. And just continue with now, as you do this, and you can be taking your rests as you need to, switch back and forth between accenting on the inhale sometimes, other times accenting on the exhale. And sometimes as you accent with the breath, you're pushing the belly out, and you're doing that for a series of these short breaths, and then other times you're drawing the belly in. But feel, how is your pelvis responding? And can you now engage your heels into the floor and begin to move your feet towards and away from your head in such a way that it is synchronized with this fast, shallow breath that you've been doing? So as you go, each one of those movements is also a movement in your ankles. And just feel for you also, are you making the accent as the feet are coming up towards your face, or is there reaching down and away? So there's several different factors here, but you're looking for a real sense of a unified movement from head to toe. So what combination of the movement in your belly, the movement with your ankles, the accent on the in-breath or on the out-breath, when do you feel the most sense of just a kind of a seamless flow of this oscillation going from head to toe, up and down? Okay, take a pause now. And now just bend one knee and stand one foot, leave the other leg long. And just keep going now. Keep experimenting with the different variables that have been suggested already, but you have one foot standing and you have one leg long and you have the heel for leverage. And keep going. With each movement of the breath, you're moving your foot up and down, the pelvis is rocking, you feel how the movement goes all the way up in your spine, your head can be bobbing up and down on the floor. Just think of one of the variables that you can change, give yourself a different pattern. Then after some time, you can go ahead and switch your leg. So the leg that was standing, you can lengthen it, bring the other leg up to stand, work with the other heel connected to the floor now. Again, take a break whenever you feel tired, and then resume. But just see if you can get more of a sense of this global movement. And now go ahead and lengthen both legs on the floor. And one last time, synchronize the movement of your breath to the movement of your feet, opening and closing the ankles, moving up and down the floor. And now try making the accent on the inhale. So, and with each inhalation, make that the moment when you're bringing your feet up towards you. And then on the exhalation, the feet are going away. And see if you can keep this going and have the sense that you're really placing more emphasis on the inhalation so that you're really filling yourself with oxygen. And this may already feel like you're engaged in a practice of power breathing along the lines that Wim Hof teaches it. And so if you are a Wim Hof practitioner and this feels like the way you would do it, or if you want to transition, if it's slightly different for you, you can move into the breath practice from this point, but just feel if there's something about this connection, again, from head to toe that's been clarified that you can use to help make that wave a bit clearer going through. And if you're not doing Wim Hof breathing practice, you can just find an end point here and feel how you're resting on the floor. In either case, I hope this has been helpful to you, and thank you for your practice. Thanks for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, and head on over to movewithseth.com. You can pick up a free training I've created for you there, which is a real foundation for any personal growth practice. and more videos coming soon. See you next time.